the last class. So what I will do is I will make you go through one last experience, because experiential learning is about getting into yourself and of seeing how your life's experiences they relate to you to take you forward in your journey. And so for today, what I have chosen, which I had kept for the last day, I was getting you into things slowly, but today I'm taking you directly to your self. That uh, in small groups about how to discuss about yourself. I cannot do a sensitivity training for you because that in itself requires a certain number of hours, but definitely I think that I can get you to touch upon uh, being sensitive to yourself and being sensitive to other people. So what we are going to do is we are going to I'm going to give you a task, and then we are going to break out into we are going into breakout rooms, and we are going to discuss whatever questions that I'm going to show you. Uh, So this has really risen out of my own reading of this book by Khalil Jamison, and it was a very thin and small book. It kept lying in my drawers and in my almirah for a very long time, and every time I would look at it, I would think that. I don't know what this book is about. So I would look at it. So sometimes I put it inside, sometimes put it out. But somehow this book, it kept um, coming into my mind that no, I must read this book. What is what is this nibble theory that this book is talking about? The word is so interesting. And then after a long time, somehow I managed to pick up the book. And on a Saturday, Sunday like this, I was lying down and I was reading this book. So my intention in this session is definitely not to tell you about the book, but I want to tell you about my journey as I began to read this book. And this book said that this book is about growth. Uh, yours, mine, children's, co-workers, everybody's. It's about how all of us can grow to be the very best and the most powerful persons we can imagine as we were meant to be. The idea is called the Nibble theory, but that name describes what not to do. The technique for growth is simple, but it is not easy. This is not a book about control. It's a book about self-empowerment and growth and celebration of self and the joy of contributing to the growth of others. Some call it the of theory generous. Some call it productive. I call it a way of living. This is what the author Khalil Jamison has to say. And then she starts in what I found as a very interesting way to describe this process of growth. Um, so the book starts very figuratively and narratively with the fact that we all live in groups. We live in families, schools, offices, factories, clubs, social circles. Within all these groups, we occupy a position and have influence in relation to the other members of the group. She has represented people by circles. I'll show them to you as we go on. Some are big circles, so they are leaders, movers, shakers, initiators, independent thinkers. Some are smaller circles. They are second in command, they are responders, reactors, a little less powerful. Some are small circle indeed, followers, hesitators, even shy contributors. So what happens when one circle meets another circle? We begin to measure one another. Size up each other. Whether you do it consciously or unconsciously, we are always, if you pay attention to your inner processes, you will see that people are measuring. They are seeing, okay, where do I stand vis-a-vis this person? And they very soon, through the conversations, they come to know who is big and who is small. And then the relationship begins. Now, two things can happen. The small circles can begin to get bigger. It's like like a sack of potatoes. Dr. Taisaku Ikeda says that people whom we meet and who are in our environment are like people, like potatoes in a sack. So when you want to clean and shine the potatoes, what is done? They rub against one another. So the small circles can begin to get bigger, react as independent, competent, contributing beings. She or he is, or nibbling can begin. So what is nibbling? So there is this big circle, and we all know this nibbling as putting down the other person. So I don't forget now whether it was Surf or some other company, but if some of you recall, a few years back, Rin थी शायद मेरे ख्याल से, it was a very beautiful ad. इसकी साड़ी मेरी साड़ी से सफेद कैसे? And so that's nibbling. So how do I put the other person down? Or how do I get put down by another person? Nibbling is a very common occurrence. Most people do nibble unless they have learned to do something else. There is a better way to grow, but we will talk about it a little later. So how does nibbling begin? You ask too many questions. You always give your ideas first. You never give me a chance to talk. You're too hard. You use too many big words. You're too frank. You're too friendly. You're too helpful. You're too emotional. You're too sensitive. You're too serious. So what happens is that you can see on the right-hand side of this that these circles, they keep getting eaten into. You're tearing into the other person and pulling the other person down, either consciously or unconsciously. So why do we nibble? So that we may feel more powerful, because in our measurement, what we have found is that this person is higher than me. But इसकी साड़ी मेरी साड़ी से सफेद कैसे हो सकती है? और उसको कम करने के लिए, मंदा करने के लिए हम उसको नीचे गिराने के चक्कर में रहते हैं और हम उसके सेल्फ एस्टीम को खींच लेते हैं, ईट अवे कर लेते हैं by saying different things. Now, my question to the group is, and you please note down these questions in your notebook, have you been nibbled at? So I'm going to break you into groups. where in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you are going to discuss that your most recent experiences of being nibbled at, where you were put down, and how did you feel when you were nibbled? And the next question you're going to is, why did you allow yourself to be nibbled at? All three questions are equally important. That have you been nibbled at? Quote some instance of being nibbled and how you felt, and why did we allow ourselves to be nibbled at? Is the task clear to you? You can raise your thumbs up or do something like this. I will also perhaps write it in the chat box for you. Is the task clear? I want to know that.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, please.
Does it need to be in a professional setup or anywhere? Anywhere. It can be any instance, or does it need to be
Anywhere. We get nibbled at all the time, whether in the professional setup, whether at home, whether with friends, whether with this, whether with that.
All right.
So whatever is uppermost in your mind of being nibbled at, that is what you're going to discuss.
All right.
Is that okay? So I see that we are 30 of us here. So I can divide you into 6 groups of 5 people each. Is that okay?
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm breaking you. Please join your rooms.
I did not get an option to join the room.
Who is this?
This is Anujri.
Ravi Kumar? Divya, Durga, Saurabh, Nivedita, Samad Khan, Rohit, Mahesh, Anita, Ravi, are you there? Manisha, Anuj Giri is the only one in one room. Samad, are you there? Saurabh, Nivedita, Durga Mehrotra, Manisha, Rohit. I think 6 people are not here. Pratiksha, what happened?
Actually, ma'am, I am
You
getting
came out of your room?
No. I have connected on third time. I am getting network issue.
Which room were you in? I'll put you back again.
With Bhumi.
Huh?
Bhumi. Room 3.
Room 3.
Yes.
Okay, join.
Okay.
I have put you. Panda ji, how come you're out? Yogesh Mehta, how come you're out?
Ma'am, in the chat room, me and Ashok sir were there, Ashok Panda. Only two people were there. The third person, Mr. Mahesh, was in connection, but his connectivity was low. So that is why we have finished our talks and discussion. So just because we were two, so it took less of a time, ma'am. So that's the reason.
So I'm putting you back in the breakout rooms because
Sure,
there
ma'am.
is an additional part to the discussion.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Which room were you in?
Fourth room, ma'am.
Huh?
Four. Number 4.
Four.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you put me back also?
Who are
We
you?
had the same issue, me and Ravinder. Priyanka.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, only me and Priyanka, ma'am, were able to discuss, but no, like, I don't know whether there was a connection problem from Manali's side or because
I think
she
I'll
was
put
not
all
there.
4 of you in one room. Manali,
Yeah.
are you there? So I will put you all in. All of you join room 2, na? You're already there.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am. But ma'am, the people were not there in the discussion. I mean, it was only me and Priyanka who were talking. I think they may be facing a network issue.
Okay, so you join, both of you join, and I will put Mr. Yogesh Mehta and Ashok Panda with you.
Okay, ma'am.
hello.
Mahesh Batra is the only one. I moved him also to room 2. Priyanka and Manali join. You cannot join on your own.
No.
Ravinder.
This one only is giving an option of moving you to a different room, but not to room 2. So some joining thing is not coming in yours anymore, is it?
Ma'am, I'm not getting the joining prompt.
Who is not getting? Yogesh, I have moved you to room 2.
Ma'am,
No, ma'am, I didn't got any message here. So I didn't got any message, ma'am.
Yogesh Mehta. Yeah, I moved you to 2 only.
Since I'm not getting any message to join the rooms, so that's
Then I'll move you to room 1, okay? Because this one is not getting this thing. You just join.
I've already joined.
Did you
the
get
4
this?
No, ma'am. Still not got any message.
Now I don't know how to give you a message because I've already moved you. Manali is not there, na? Durga, Manali, Sachin, Ravinder.
Ma'am, I am here, but I am not getting Ravinder this side, ma'am. But I'm not getting the prompt to join room 2 again. We were in room 2, me, Priyanka, Manali, and Sachin.
Hey Bhagwan, Ravinder, let me see where you are. Not joined दिखा रहा है, मैंने तो move कर दिया
Yes,
है
ma'am.
तो.
Ma'am, like we were in room 2, but we had discussion, then we came out.
No, but now it's not coming na anymore. I can only
Ma'am.
move it
Ma'am,
for different
but
groups.
I was already done with discussion with Priyanka. So we had a discussion.
I moved you in room 1. No, the discussion is yet to continue. There's another part to the discussion.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Arun, Arun, are you there? Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
Arun. I think
Yes,
I
ma'am.
put someone in the waiting room by mistake. Can you just see?
You can just a minute, ma'am. Yeah.
Yogesh Mehta. Okay, no, he's here.
Hello. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Ma'am, all the students is already admitted to the group, right?
Who's speaking, please?
Arun, ma'am. Arun. Yeah.
Arun?
Yes, ma'am.
Arun? Huh. No, he's here only, Yogesh Mehta.
Yes. He's already
I don't know,
admitted
he's
to the
not
group.
able to join his room. He is not able to join the room which I have assigned to him.
Mm,
He was in room 2 and now I'm not getting the option over here to put him back in room 2.
8 minutes. Let me check. Yeah.
Hmm. Otherwise, I'll make you host again. Does that help you, Arun?
Just make ma'am ICD Delhi chapter host. ICD Delhi chapter.
Hmm? Should I make you host? Will that help you?
Yes. Yes, please. Yes, please. ICD Delhi chapter.
Okay, so I'll go back to participants. ISTD Delhi chapter, make host. Yeah. So I made you host now. Now see if you can put Yogesh Mehta in group 2. Arun, in another 3-4 minutes, we'll close all the breakout rooms. Arun? Arun, I have closed all the rooms.
The number you have dialed is currently busy. Please try later. आपके द्वारा डायल किया गया नंबर अभी व्यस्त है। कृपया कुछ समय पश्चात प्रयास करें। आपके द्वारा डायल
Hello?
Ma'am, all breakout rooms closed.
Thank you.
So within 60 seconds, everyone will be out from the rooms, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Are the breakout rooms needed again?
No, no, we don't need them anymore.
Okay.
Thank you. So welcome back. All of you are here. I can see 25, so maybe 2-3 more people are yet to be back.
Or they must have left or something.
Okay, so that's also possible.
Yeah.
Life is full of possibilities. So, how was your experience? I want you to unmute yourself. As many people as can put on your videos, please put on your videos. Those who can't, it's a different matter altogether. Remember that without looking at your faces, experiential learning has no meaning.
No meaning, right.
So I want you to know how you're feeling with this discussion. What did you discover? What did you learn? How would you reflect on this experience?
Some point of time in life, everybody has been nibbled by someone or the other.
This is Soumya speaking, is it? And how did it feel being nibbled at?
No, ma'am.
Yeah?
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't get the question. Actually, there's a problem in my network.
This is Ravinder speaking. So
Yes,
how did you, so you said that almost everyone had an experience of being nibbled at.
Yes, ma'am.
And what were the feelings that the group discussed? Maybe somebody else can speak, some other group.
You feel very underconfident. You feel
Someone is eating into your confidence. Self-esteem.
Yes, ma'am. It feels like that.
Right. And did you discuss the second part of the question which I posted? That have you nibbled at others?
Ma'am, because I wasn't able to join the breakout room, so I couldn't discuss that.
Okay. Any group which was able to discuss that when
So, ma'am, this is Anuj Giri, and we had a discussion in our group regarding the nibbling basically, and we discussed a lot about how people are getting looked over just because they were not at a position where they were perform at a level they are actually they have actually potential of. And I shared one example of myself for that group wherein I was looked over because I did not you can say I was not in the position where I can present something that I've worked on. You work a lot throughout a quarter or a month or a week on, and wherein things are coming on to the review of things, you're not able to present things just because you're not into position, and your bosses or your bosses of your boss's boss is presenting the same thing, and he's not able to put things into words where you have put into efforts, where you have put your blood and sweat into. And that's why the whole data and everything goes into vain. That's why being nibbled on is probably the most hurting thing to your self-esteem.
Right. And did your group also discuss, did you discuss that if you have nibbled on others?
That was the aspect of things that we did not explore. We probably should have, but we did not, because the time, I guess, these conversations, they lead you on to different parallax things that you don't expect, and the time goes by. That's why we did not go, we did not explore that aspect of things, but we should have.
How did the discussion make you feel? Because the other members of the group can talk for themselves, but how did Anuj feel after discussing and sharing in the group?
I felt, sort of a weight lifted off my shoulders. Saying things saying things that I were not able to say into an open form, of my organization or of the people that I'm working for. So it felt very relieving
to find a stranger group where you could share.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else? I'll just take one more group, that's all, and then we'll move on.
Okay, I can share something also.
Yes, Pandaji.
Actually, basically, I was working with the Times of India. Of course, I've retired long back. There were, as you know, in a organization, there are different groups. One is the editorial group and the other is the advertisement group, marketing group. Okay. Now, when the boss tells the advertisement people, we are bringing out a feature on education, we need also some advertisement support for that feature. Now, what happens? So 3 or 4 people are involved in that. They move out, and when they move out, they meet clients to get advertisement support, particularly educational institutes, because it is an educational feature. And out of the 3, 2 come saying we have not been able to do much, but one comes getting, say, 3 advertisements. So the other 2, they feel nibbled that A has brought 2 ads, we have not been able to get anything, and obviously A is becoming a little closer to the boss, and the other 2 feel very much let down. So this is also a form of nibbling.
Okay. And is there anybody, one person in the group, who could also say that I also have nibbled?
Ma'am, here I would like to say that after discussing it in my group, Soumya this side, exactly, we have not configured it as that I have nibbled it, but something has been came out as an essence that if we are into a certain field for a very long time, and if we are confronting some freshers or some newbies, then certain kind of things go into a flow while explaining things to them or talking to them or giving them certain suggestion or something. Then yes, might be in that elderly fashion, it might have happened that we might have nibbled someone while helping someone, but intentionally it has never been.
Ma'am, there are 2 things to look at, whether it is intentional or unintentional. Many a times a person nibbling is not conscious enough that or doing it with a purpose. It's just that habitual kind of, comes out of and some other times it is intentional. So that was one of the things that we discussed. I mean, I was in Soumya's group.
All right. So actually, when I was reading this book and I was thinking, my mind took off and I was thinking that, oh, I've been nibbled by so-and-so. And this is it, and I'm feeling so bad for myself. And then I started feeling very bad. And then suddenly I came to this question that, hey, wait a minute, you cannot have an effect in your life if you have not created a cause at some point in time, intentionally, unintentionally, knowingly, or unknowingly. And then I went into looking deep inside myself, that what were the instances when I myself nibbled at other people. And then I realized that yes, I'm not any holier than thou. And that's when, I came to this whole aspect of apology and determination not to do things like this again. So everybody wants to grow. It's a drive from the time we are born. And even when we are, as we say, grown physically, we still want to grow in knowledge, power, importance in the human groups we belong to. It's not always true that bigger is better, but in this case, growing bigger is better. There is nothing wrong with the wish to grow. The human organism is designed to grow towards health. It's healthy to want to grow, just as the physical drive to grow is healthy and irresistible. And everybody, there is place for everybody, and everybody could be big. But that's only theoretically, because some people, they just choose to be small. They allow themselves to be nibbled. And there are several payoffs for allowing ourselves to be nibbled. That is because maybe we don't want to confront the boss. Maybe we don't want to lose favor. Maybe we want to be the good one. ये तो जवाब ही नहीं देती है. And some people, we understand that they want to cover up for their smallness by appearing to be bigger. But these people, they don't get any bigger. They only get bent and out of shape. And some people, they think कि हम तो ऐसे ही हैं, हम तो छोटे हैं, हम तो कभी बड़े ही नहीं हो सकते. And therefore, they do not bring out their full potential. Now, how not to nibble? That is by respecting each person, each life that we meet. Why? Because every person is a product of the universal forces, and therefore has been created like this beautiful bouquet of flowers below, with a unique individuality and their own way of living and their own mission. It is important to recognize this truth and to respect it. That is the natural order of things. That is how it works in the world of flowers. There are a myriad flowers which bloom harmoniously, in a beautiful profusion. So what is respect? Then I ask you to discuss what is respect and disrespect. Then you will find that respect ultimately comes down to that I want to be loved and cherished unconditionally for who I am. So therefore, if I want to be loved and cherished unconditionally for who I am, then I need to train my mind to think differently about other people. One is that I myself am unique. I'm unique and I have all the potential within me. I don't need to compare myself to anybody. I don't need to measure myself against anybody. It is like in Buddhism, we are taught the principle of plum, peach, and damson. Each one of them, they are complete within themselves. The cherry has its distinct beauty, the plum has its delicate fragrance, the peach blossom has its lovely color, and the damson has its delightful charm. And they are all complete within themselves. How do we learn to respect others? By learning to empathize with others. and then transcending differences to realize that what I'm actually hating in another person is what I'm hating within myself, because I am the microcosm of the macrocosm, and everything that is out there in the universe is also in here within me. The way to demonstrate respect is to listen when someone is talking, to think before you speak, that what effect might this have on another person. So it's not enough to say unconsciously that, you know, we may be doing things in the way that we are giving work. We need to stop by and consider what effect could this have on the person. To be clear, when you want something, to respectfully disagree. And one way of respectfully disagreeing is, you know, I could give you a small demonstration. It's not to say you're wrong and I'm right. No, I have a different way of looking at it. Can I present another perspective on the same issue? So very respectfully, we present it. Practice patience. Don't stereotype other people. Don't gossip. Don't talk about people behind their backs. Apologize if you have hurt someone. Be respectful to others, even if they are not respectful to you. I used to always think, you know, that I'm justified in being rude to someone who is rude to me, because I didn't start it all, after all, I would tell myself. But now that I have learned that our lives is governed by the law of cause and effect, I've understood that if I'm having an effect of someone being rude to me, I must have created the cause at some point in time, knowingly or unknowingly. And now, again, by being rude to this person, I am again creating a fresh negative cause in my life. Therefore, I need to step back and not create the same cause. Third is, we live in an environment. We not only live with people, but we live amongst things. So we share the same planet, the same earth, and we should all be doing our best to make sure that it is a good place to be. This means being aware of our surroundings and behaving in a way that takes into consideration those that will be there here after us, right? You see in the most beautiful of the cars, people are going in the biggest of the cars. They'll open their car window and throw the McDonald's on the road, the wrapping on the road. As long as the dirt is not in my house, it's perfectly okay. But we are all interconnected. वो मच्छर वापस लौट के हमारे ही घर में आता है. Everyone likes to enter a well cared for and considered environment, whether it is outside or inside. Make sure that you respect your surroundings at all times. So how should we live? We should live in a way and work like a candle, that we always give away some light by lighting up another person. So we think that we will become lesser if I compliment someone, if I appreciate someone's work, if I say something good to another person, if I don't put the other person down, I cannot rise. No, that's not the way the law of cause and effect works. The more you praise others, the more you encourage others, the more you're creating an effect in your own life in order to be praised. And therefore, when everybody grows, everybody shines. If you praise other people's uniqueness, you will also come to shine. So all people have a right to flower, to reveal their full potential as human beings, and to fulfill their mission in the world. And that's the way to grow, not by nibbling at other people, right? So I wanted to make you experience by sharing, and to help you to understand that just like you, other people are also nibbled at, and that we also nibble. And therefore, if we don't like if someone has done to us, thank you, Priyanka, if what someone has done to us, we ourselves must keep a strict watch on ourselves and make sure by telling ourselves that this person is in my life to teach me what not to do. What not to do is what is important, right? So this, my friends, was about experiential learning. And I'm going to quickly share with you a wrap-up session on experiential learning. That the journey that we have been through, but in a very, very brief manner. So now, what is experiential learning? It's a broad category of teaching methods and activities that involve the learner in the learning process. So I could have given you a lecture on this, but this lecture would then have been a lecture method and not an experiential learning method. So you feel so light when you're talking to a group of strangers, and people in the group, if we could have it for a longer period of time, it could have turned into a sensitivity lab or a small group, T group training session. But given this short while, we got a small experience of seeing that we are not the only ones. We keep doing this to each other and to ourselves. So it is a process. Experiential learning is a process of making meaning out of a direct experience, personalized reflection about an experience. Experiential learning provides variety of learning environment and gives students who are hands-on or visual learners a tangible example to correspond with the principle. Often, experiential learning activities give students a broader understanding of the concept in a physical environment, formulation of plans to apply learning to other contexts as well. So, in a training session, there is both content and process. Experiential learning focuses on process, and the role of the facilitator becomes to make it easy. So Carl Rogers says that experiential learning is equivalent to personal change and growth, feels that all human beings have a natural propensity to learn. The role of the teacher is to facilitate such learning and make it easy. We looked at the Kolb's learning cycle, which was to do, reflect, conceptualize, and then to see how to apply it again. And the different methods of experiential learning are field trips, narratives, conducting experiments, simulations, games, storytelling, focused imaging, field observations, role playing, model building, and surveys. So we experience some of these methodologies in this few sessions that we have had. Now, some of you had asked me for readings on experiential learning. So what I did was that I prepared a very, you can also Google and you will find these readings, because that's what I did myself. And I will send them by WhatsApp to Mr. Arun, and then he will put it in your group. But as I said, it's there on Google. And like someone sent me a very beautiful quotation yesterday that, find yourself by yourself, otherwise the rest is all available on Google. So all the readings, all the experiments, everything has been, is over there. Now I've kept 5 minutes. If you want to add any comments, anything, ask any question related to experiential learning, let me see if I can help you.
Ma'am, can I say something?
Yes, Priyanka, I saw that you are inviting your group mates for an empathy circle
Yeah.
session.
So I just wanted to let people know about Culture of Empathy. It's run by Edwin Rush. It's based on the teachings of Carl Rogers. And I've been recently trained as a facilitator, and I'm trying to spread this culture of empathy in India as well. So if anybody is interested to join me maybe once a week, it's completely free of cost. We just meet once a week as friends, and we speak about a topic that's close to our heart, and we learn to listen deeply and understand each other. So if anybody is interested, you can contact me. Just wanted to add. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, any
I would
of
like to.
the book which will cover, ma'am, any of the book you would like to suggest which will cover all these theories of experiential learning?
There is one by David Kolb itself.
Ma'am, not able to hear. David?
Kolb.
David Coleman, you said.
Ma'am, what about PPTs? We had a word last time. I mean, the PPTs that you were
Your
about.
reference, that I'll give you, no, that's not a problem. That I said I will share, right?
Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, ma'am, to say it over and over again, but just as our exams are approaching nearby, the pressure builds up. So that is the reason that we keep on, barging.
Yeah. Can you see I am sharing on the screen some books? Are you able to see anything?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a book by David Kolb and on experiential learning. And then this is Experiential Learning Toolkit. This is by Colin Beard. Then Rolf Linton and Uday Parikh have also done a lot of work in this area. So Training for Development also has a lot of experiential learning. This thing. Experiential learning is more about experiencing and less about theory. And then how you experience whatever that you are doing and what meaning does it have for you. Ultimately, that is the crux of experiential learning. Through various.
How do we create a survey with experiential learning? Please?
Sorry?
Survey with experiential learning. Survey.
I've not got your question.
Survey, S-U-R-V-E-Y, survey. How you are connecting survey with experiential learning?
It was there, no, as one of the methods. I showed it.
Yeah, but how survey is related with experiential learning?
Well, it depends on what you're surveying, Pandaji.
Okay.
Depends on what you're surveying, no?
Okay.
Is that correct?
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Makes sense, no?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I mean, after all, you're going out into the field and collecting experiences only. It is not theoretical, right? So that's why.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, Bhumi.
Ma'am, is it just the David Kolb's experiential model that we need to study, or there are other models as well that we need to look up for ourselves? On the internet. There are other models other than David Kolb's experiential.
Yes. You remember in the first slide, I had shown you that there are several experiential learning models, and in the first class which I had taken, and I had given you all the history of it, of the evolution of the experiential method and about how adults learn. And then I had told you, but the most famous and the most popular nowadays is David Kolb's.
Yes. Okay. Apart from that, when we researched for the assignments and for the examination, we also came across other important people who have, devised some other experiential theories. They may not be so much in practice, but they may help in framing the answers. So is it counted, right? I mean, we can cite the examples from those theories as well, right, when answering questions.
You should also.
Okay.
You should also. So from my side, it's 3:30 and I take leave of all of you. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope
Thank
my
you, ma'am.
my computer gets revived so that I can give you the initial. Otherwise, I will ask Arun to help me with the initial PPTs. But the later PPTs, 3-4 classes I have, and I will definitely share everything with Arun on the mail. Is that okay? Or with Kaushal Saab? And you will get all of it. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the very
Thank
best.
you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I just wanted to thank you so much. This has been such an incredibly different experience. I enjoyed myself so much and I learned a lot. Thank you so much for all the effort you put in for that.
And not at all. Thank you, all of you, for
Thank you,
your
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
wholehearted participation. Otherwise, an experiential learning session can mean nothing if participants don't participate.
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
should thank all of you.
Thank
and
you so
wish
much.
you all the best. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas and very happy New Year.
Very happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and same to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.